Yeah, January 6th prisoners, huge issue, and one of them is running for Congress. They filed to run for Congress. So that's going to be real interesting. So in 2 years, you're going to have a J6 prisoner who is out and will run for
Casey
Congress.
Racing.
Denny, thank you. Yes, Larry Elder. All right, here we go.
Electric Studios, from the first step to the final phase. Industrial and commercial electrical done right. Casey Hendrickson.
All right, so...
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Most people right now on the live stream not accepting Dan Crenshaw's apology. And again, had this been just a one-time thing, he might be able to use some of the political capital that he had and kind of say, you know what? Yeah, we were getting emotional. I was frustrated, and I used a turn of phrase that I shouldn't have used, and I apologize about that. It's not how he issued the apology. But if he had done that, and he didn't have a history of doing things, and maybe, just maybe, it wouldn't have been a big deal. The problem is that Dan Crenshaw now has a record, and this isn't sitting well with the base. Like I've said before, I don't know that his reputation is going to recover. And again, overall, as a congressperson, Dan Crenshaw is not a bad one. He's somebody that I used to really, really like personally, even though I didn't agree with him on everything politically. But he's still been a decent congressperson. The problem is on a lot of big issues, I have a complete opposite opinion of him. And those are really big issues. They're not minor little things that I can overlook. They're huge issues, and huge issues add up quite a bit. So I'm not sure he can recover from this. And, we'll see. He's in a very conservative district, and he's got 2 years to go ahead and re-solidify his base. We'll see what happens. So if you go to 953mnc.com right now, the resolution calling for reparatory justice has been removed from the South Bend Common Council agenda. This is the reparations thing. We teased this on Friday. We kind of talked about it when we heard that it was going to be introduced. Then it was actually on the agenda for today, so we're going to talk about it for today, but it's been removed from the agenda. The resolution to consider reparations was removed from the South Bend Common Council agenda before today's meeting. It's a move that Black Lives Matter South Bend calls obstructionist political tactics, which they're famous for, deployed by Council President Sharon McBride and Council Vice President Sheila Niezgodsky. The two issued a statement saying that the standard practices and procedures require that every resolution, quote, be accompanied by a separate cover letter from the party initiating the resolution that provides specific information about the bill, including the bill sponsor, a requested committee to hear the bill, and dates at which the sponsor would like the bill to be heard. However, the resolution calling for reparatory justice did not have an accompanying cover letter, did not identify who is tendering the resolution, or include any other information required. After consulting with the Common Council attorney and the city clerk was instructed to remove
Amazon is going to be replacing
now, it could come up again
the elastomers I bought. So they'll be here tomorrow, and I'm going to pull these out. But what I did do is...
moving. And like I said, there's a couple of things that we can do to talk about this. One, we can do the whole reparations thing, and here's the thing.
I got me some white lithium grease.
Even people advocate for it. It's a
hopefully
simple
camera will pick up on that, and don't think so. Sorry. The best camera in the world. I hope you can see that.
But I was talking about this the other day.
Alright.
Honestly,
hope you can see that.
Don't people who support reparations actually have a strong position in the city of South Bend? Not in general. In general, the idea of reparations is utterly ridiculous. But if your mayor made it a central point of his campaign that South Bend is a systemically racist city, going back, Democrats have been running the city complete control on council.
All right, so I now have
mayorship since before I was born.
So The next, the stiffest spring on here.
Sean Haas was asked if he thought that South Bend was systemically racist. He said he didn't think it was.
You can see the springs, hopefully.
And Mayor Mueller said that...
There's one spring, and then the elastomers. And then the elastomers are down below it.
It's run by Democrats in the council. It's run by Democrats in the mayorship. You know, so what is it about the Democrats running the city of South Bend that's made it systemically racist? Why haven't the Democrats who've controlled it for, you know, almost 50 years, why haven't they fixed what is systemically racist about the city? And considering the entire Democratic Party pearl clutched on this and attacked Sean Haas over this issue, doesn't that make the position that Henry Davis Jr. is making, that reparations are owed in the city of South Bend, doesn't that make that position stronger? How can you say, no, we can't give reparations while simultaneously saying that you rule over a systemically racist city? I mean, you know, again, from the purely logical standpoint, reparations are dumb. Nobody takes them seriously, especially the people who file these things. But if your entire playbook as the Democratic Party here has made it, St. Joseph County Democratic Party, if your entire playbook is that South Bend is systemically racist, has always been systemically racist, and continues to be systemically racist, how could you possibly deny a motion for reparations? Wouldn't that kind of back you into a corner? What's going to happen if this gets introduced and the Democrats in South Bend say no to reparations, because they control everything? The Democrats say no to reparations while simultaneously saying the South Bend is a systemically racist city under their control for nearly 5 decades. How's that going to look with the Democrat voter base, particularly the black voter base, in the city of South Bend? So, from that position, I appreciate the strategy. I don't know if Henry Davis Jr. was thinking about it that way, but I mean, that's the position that he's in. The position he's in is that you told me that this was a racist city that was oppressing black people, so let's do some reparations then. And it's going to be the Democratic Party who would vote against them, or they will vote to approve them. Well, I guess we'll have to see. So this I'm going to the details of all of this. All right, 95.3MNC.com, including a statement from Black Lives Matter South Bend. Go look at it, have a couple of chuckles.
How's your Christmas? How's your New Year's, man?
And then think about what I said, because I think that's the most interesting aspect of this. Not the reparations fight. The reparations fight's always dumb. But the fact that the Democrats are now in a position to say, no, reparations are not good, when they have been basically campaigning on them and aligning themselves with groups like Black Lives Matter that are all about reparations. That could be fun to watch politically. I'm not going to lie. It could be very entertaining. Now, speaking of reparations, let's take a look at California, People's Republic of. A few weeks ago, 9-member California Reparations Task Force estimated that black state residents could receive more than $223,000 each in reparations for the enduring economic effects of racism and slavery.
Congratulations.
Now, of course, who pays the reparations in South Bend, California? Well, the taxpayer does. To put that amount in perspective, it has been estimated that it would cost around $569 billion to compensate the 2.5 million black Californians. That total is more than California's $512.8 billion expenditure in 2021. In other words, California is more than double they're going to more than double their expenditures.
What the
if
crap?
The reparations thing goes through, okay? And
what the crap? Did you get your CLK?
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I hope you got your CLK.
Now the chair of California's Reparations Task Force has said that black people are really owed $1 million each for, quote, harms. So the $223,000 that the task force came up with, not good enough. She wants it to be $1 million for for
My
every
dad's Dodge Durango died. The transmission died. The train died in it. And
Kamala Moore actually talked with President.
He went and got a Santa Fe.
I spoke
all-wheel
with
drive.
Al Sharpton about this.
I don't know what year. I don't know if it's brand new.
Video show out of my studio.
I don't know what color.
Vegas, out of KXP.
I just know he has a dependable work vehicle now.
About the reparations issue, and Al Sharpton, just like pretty much everybody else who confronted about the reparations issue, doesn't really have an answer for you on why is it my responsibility as somebody whose ancestors weren't even in the country when your ancestors dealt with this, if your ancestors dealt with this, because remember, here's the uncomfortable truth.
I can't start it from my watch.
A lot of black people's ancestors didn't deal with slavery in the United States. But again, there's no answer to it. There's just, oh well, just the structure of it has held us back this entire time. Again, another uncomfortable truth here. One of the reasons that there is racial friction between the black community and Asians throughout this country, and the black community and Jews throughout this country, is that Jewish people and Asian people are an inconvenient reminder that saying the bigotrous institution of slavery is why you can't succeed today. It doesn't play out for Jewish people and Asian people who dealt with a lot. And in many parts of the country, California in particular, what the Chinese went through was almost as bad as what many blacks went through. It is, again, it's an inconvenient reminder that you can't just lean on that forever. There are societies and communities that have gone through that horrible bigotry and they came right out of it and they've succeeded. And so it becomes very...
Of course it's going back down again.
So you do see, generally speaking, you can look at the research on this, you do see that in large swaths of the black community, you see an animus towards Asians and an animus
I got enough of those. I can sell them every day for a year.
Rooted in that whole.
So if you try to sell another one, you get that.
Argument.
No, you go piss off.
It's certainly
get my money.
Dwindling. Thank God, we want it to dwindle, but it is still nonetheless a very big issue, particularly among low-income black Americans in some parts of the country. Not everywhere, but in some parts of the country. We see it in San Francisco all the time. Who's attacking Asian people in San Francisco? It's not white people. It's not Republicans. It's not Trump supporters. It is predominantly black men. That's who's doing it. Unprovoked, appear to be random. They scream racial slurs. It just comes out of nowhere. If you look at the amount of people who commit hate crimes against Asians around the country, it is by a wide and vast margin.
Nope.
Those hate crimes are committed by black Americans, mostly men.
I'm not doing it because of this.
Where does that animus come from?
I hate that track. But this...
Most people believe, and there's some academic research that seems to suggest that the animus that seems to exist between those three groups of people appear to be because of their oppression in the past and their current status in society. Is that a fair reason for that animus? No, I don't think so. But a lot of people will use anything as an excuse to hate somebody else. So it just tends to be something that we see commonplace.
During Manu,
like I
last
said before, especially in the case of South Atlanta, in the case of California, when you're sitting there and you're looking at the entire world,
6 races.
We still oppress these people in our society now.
I'm not doing Autopolis. I'm not doing that damn race, dude.
You just said you were continuing to
I hate that race. I hate that car. I love the cars, but I can't drive the cars with BOP on. I can't do it.
Now, what I
can't, and I won't get used to it neither, because I don't want to spoil it.
Black Americans look at this and understand that the people who are talking about reparations
I love my freaking Scotty tunes.
The people who say, yes, you're still oppressed, they're not serious.
You need to start hanging out with us
as a way to control it.
Every night,
and they are
if you can.
Not at all serious.
Usually, Josh gets on sometime around 7 or 8.
That's all it is. Got more coming up.
Scotty's over across the pond. And Sonic is on. We mess around and shit.
Alrighty.
You should hang out. I'm pretty sure you're in Kaboom Operators
I
PSN.
I would have one, but I gave up first because someone was an amazing sportsman.
I'm pretty sure you're in Kaboom Operators PSN water cooler chat.
Excuse me.
I'll have to check again, see if you're in there. I'm pretty sure you are, though.
Maybe today if I'm home in time.
Yep. That'd be cool.
I think I am.
I miss you, man.
But I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. My wheel is in bad shape, dude. It's creaking and cracking inside.
I'm really close to my rating.
That's awesome. And Josh and Scotty will help you get to A+.
What's wrong with the T?
The bearing inside is worn, so the wheel wiggles.
Try WD-40.
No. It's internal. It's internal. It's the housing inside. So the wheel, it'll wiggle up and down, okay? But it will not wiggle side to side. Now, if something was loose, like there's 4 screws inside, if they're loose, it'll wiggle side to side. But Josh has been through like 3 T500s, and he went through a couple of T300s. Shifting, occasionally I was missing a shift, but now I'm missing a shift several times a lap, and a lot of times I gotta hit 1, 2, 3, 4 times to get it into gear. So as far as like missing the shifts go, the upshift is probably 90% of the time, and the downshift is rarely. No, I don't want Fanatic. I'm invested in Thrustmaster. What I really want is a TGT2. Yep. I want a TGT2.
Remember, that's the goal.
The T818 is not here yet.
Completely break the government.
Yes, you do.
So the government collapses into socialism. That is the goal.
The T818, it'll be here eventually. Right now, I don't want that.
About, folks.
I want the TGT2 because it's got a freaking transducer on its nose, man. It's gonna make my
the Irish, the
shake.
Russians, they all dealt with it.
The butt kicker was okay, but this thing is going to be mounted on the wheel itself.
America,
and there's coding in the game that's going to make the freaking wheelbase shake and make my entire rig shake.
Pretty much the worst, but they weren't the only
I can't wait.
Got it.
I can't wait. And then what I could do with the butt kicker, the Gamer 2, the amp is dead. I could buy a new amp for $60 and attach that to my Lazy Boy.
I see you on the
The Chinese were basically, they were slaves.
All right, bud.
It was just outsourced.
Later.
See ya, homie. Have a good day. All right, let's see where I'm at. All right, we got to improve this.
Oh, yeah, the 21 million to eliminate racist streets and smart streets. Yeah, there's that. There's that, too.
The plan presents the proposed goals and priorities for transit and scenarios, a short-term network and an additional funding network. The short-term network rests most people within the
Andy, it could be. Andy's asking on Discord, would reparations be the next red line of a revolution, taxation without representation? Potentially, depends on how serious it impacts people's lives, sure.
Don't go below second. Don't go below third.
Here we go.
At 953mnc.com. I'm Laura Smith.
Sean Timney, we're back for a full week of Michiana Sport News first thing Monday morning on 95.3.
Can't see my gears. Phone's in the way. And the view is killing too.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I wonder how many people don't consume enough water because the water that comes out of our tap tastes like the dirty backside of a gorilla. Because that's what the water tastes like in the city of Elkhart. I'm convinced that the city of Elkhart is trying to poison everybody. I don't know any specifics and I don't have any proof of it, but God, is it awful. You turn your faucet on And you ever go to a hotel pool on a busy, like, convention weekend, and the hotel pool has just been saturated with chlorine, and it just emanates, particularly if it's an indoor pool, and you open the door to the indoor pool, and it just smells like chlorine. That's what the water is like in the city of Elko. And I'm sure that their answer to that is, oh, we're just trying to kill bacteria and stuff. Yeah, it's just bad. It doesn't taste good. It's not good for you. You shouldn't be consuming that stuff. So the alternative is to buy bottled water, right? Which is expensive, and it's annoying because it takes up a ton of space. You can get pitchers, which you have to refill. Inevitably, you have, people are in my house, you have people who don't refill the pitcher. You're the only one who does, and then you never have clean water. So inevitably, you don't have water. Forget it. I'll just drink whiskey instead. That's not the healthiest lifestyle in the world. The funnest lifestyle, but not the healthiest. So I contacted Spencer's Quality Water. So enough of this. I want good water. I don't want any calcium stains and deposits, and I don't want any iron stains on my toilet. I'm tired of my water constantly smelling like a dirty swimming pool. I want to be able to drink my water. I want to be able to get my water intake in, not suffer about it, actually enjoy a cup of water, and not have stains on all of my appliances. So Spencer's Quality Water came out. They did a water assessment. It took about 15 minutes or so. Found the right spot to put a water softening system in for the entire house and a reverse osmosis system so I can get clean water in my kitchen sink. And it has been a game changer. I don't have bottles of water everywhere. I don't have that pitcher taking up a good chunk of my refrigerator space. I don't have to worry about any of that anymore. My appliances are cleaner. My toilet isn't stained anymore. The toilet water doesn't have that weird irony smell to it anymore. Everything is better. It has been a complete game changer in my lifestyle. Call Spencer's Quality Water today, 574-277-1111, 574-277-1111. Make sure you let them know that I sent you. Get your free water assessment. Have them come out and test your water for you, particularly in Elkhart and Granger. Granger's bad too, right, John? John's nodding his head. Granger water's awful, which is weird. You're in the magical pixie land of Granger. Why do you have such bad water? Because you don't have Spencer's Quality Water. Spencer's Quality Water, 574-277-1111. Mention me, and you get, with your salt delivery, you get your free first 3 bags of salt for free. Okay. I do like pick. I like Granger. I just like picking on Grangers. But I do
crazy.
All right. What do we got here? Well, wouldn't you know this? How many times have I gone over how many American members of the press have gone over to Communist China for the annual event that Communist China has for American journalists, and they sit them down and they preach to them about how amazing China is, and they don't really ever quite tell us all of the things that happen while they're there. The assumption is that a few of them get linked up with a Fang spy, just like Swalwell did. Maybe a few of them get some ducats, some money, that sort of thing, in order to write very positive things about the Chinese Communist Party, and also just to write stories that are antagonistic to American society. It doesn't always have to be pro-China, pro-China, pro-China. Sometimes just low-key causing chaos. Roger Sullenberger, he's a journalist responsible for dubiously sourced stories attacking high-profile conservatives like Herschel Walker and Matt Gaetz. He previously worked for a Chinese Communist Party-linked company blacklisted by the U.S. government for its ties to the regime's military. Oh! So where does Sullenberger work now? He's at the Daily Beast. Wouldn't you know it, the Daily Beast is always writing hit pieces about conservatives. Sullenberger's always writing hit pieces about conservatives. Sullenberger is constantly writing articles that are hit pieces on conservatives that have no actual information in them other than an anonymous source told me something. Right, your anonymous source is Winnie the Pooh, the dictator of China. He's credited with breaking stories that targeted Georgia's Senate candidate, including reports about secret son and allegations that he paid for a woman's abortion. Sullenberger was also responsible for an exclusive story accusing American Conservative Union Chairman Matt Schlapp of, quote, groping a male staffer for Walker's campaign. Described as a relative newcomer to journalism, Sullenberger previously worked for the controversial Chinese Communist Party-linked drone company, DJI. I know some of you are like, DJI, but they make really good drones. They do. They just make drones for the Chinese Communist Party. Since 2017, China-based DJI has been flagged by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security as selectively targeting government and privately owned entities within these sectors to expand its ability to collect and exploit sensitive U.S. data. But don't worry, they make good drones, so you keep flying your DJI. These fears have prompted the U.S. Department of Interior to ground its entire DJI drone fleet, citing increasing concerns about the national security risk from Chinese manufacturers. The Department of Defense and the U.S. Army have also followed suit due to national security and data privacy concerns as DJI routinely complies with data sharing requests from the Chinese Communist Party. Can't have that. The Sullenberger is a guy who, works with them. Worked with them, okay? He was an editorial director for 3D Robotics, which is a California-based consumer drone company. Former competitor to DJI, 3DR ultimately partnered with the Chinese Communist Party lead company in 2017. So it's kind of interesting that you have these reporters who go to the Chinese retreats every year. They work for companies that are linked to China, and then everything that they do just seems to be pro-China, and everybody who is critical of China is a bad guy. It's like, it's right away those articles come out. Like, right away. And you watch people just get brainwashed about this stuff. When people go out there and they talk about COVID still, it's, they blame Trump.
A lot of time to do it right now.
Imagine blaming Trump for COVID in 2023. People still do.
Hey!
And when you point out that it came from China, and that it came out of a Chinese lab, and that it was the Chinese government who lied about it, and then it was the World Health Organization who lied about it, all the way through mid-January. For a month, they lied to everybody and said it couldn't spread to people. You start to get a pattern here, and anybody who's critical of that, suddenly there's an attack article written about him in the Daily Beast and some
I don't
other
know, GT Engine has this up to date or not yet. I haven't checked today. I forgot to check last night.
8 times out of 10, 80% of the time. If you look at the journalist who wrote the article, you can find their name, or at least somebody who was higher up than them at their organization went to that Chinese Communist Party annual journalist convention.
So let's look for
it's weird how that works. And more coming up. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. MNC News Time is 4:33. It is time to impress somebody worth impressing with Impress Jewelry Creations.
This.
All right, folks, I'm going to take a quick time out. I will be back in...
Not looking forward to this one. Frank really like the Red Bull.
It's a blast though. The first time I drove that car and this track goes together. Oh no, don't do that. What's it doing? Come on, hurry up.
There once was a ship that put to sea. The name of the ship was the Billy O.T. The winds blew hard, her bow dipped down. Below me, bully boys blow. Soon may the weathermen come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. She'd not been 2 weeks from shore when down on her a right whale bore. The captain called all hands and swore he'd take that whale in tow. Soon may the weathermen come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Before the boat had hit the water, the whale's tail came up and caught her. All hands to the side harpooned and fought her when she dived down low. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. No line was cut, no whale was freed. The captain's mind was not on greed, but he belonged to the whaleman's creed. She took that ship in tow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. For 40 days or even more, the line went slack, then tight once more. Our boats were lost, there were only 4, and still that whale did go. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. As far as I've heard, the fight's still on, the line's not cut and the whale's not gone. The wellerman makes his regular call to encourage the captain, crew, and all. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
From the first step to the final phase. Industrial and commercial electrical done right. Casey Hendrickson.
Come on, I see the things are crying out loud.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. If you go to mypillow.com, most of you know that I love my coffee and everything else, and they've launched a new coffee. I've not had this. I don't have any doubt that it's not going to live up to Tatoa coffee. But if you wanted to try it, go to mypillow.com, look at the My Coffee, and save about 50%.
Yes,
I found I'm looking for.
I'm leaving work soon, so hopefully I see you on the track today.
Lightweight and heavyweight products right now.
Found it.
What's
I
up, dude?
found it.
Doing good, man.
I found
Not
it.
looking forward to this one. Don't really like the Red Bull too much.
Overstock sale.
I
Save
found it.
80% off.
It's coming.
The Overstock with promo code Casey. But they have an entire bed system. They got mattresses, they got mattress toppers, they got quilts and down blankets and pajamas and all of that stuff. But I have the 3-inch mattress topper. Now, originally, when we started the MyPillow deals, one of the things that they had asked me about was the mattress topper. And I kid you not, I had just bought one the week before. It had just come. We had just put it on the bed, and I said, well, I'd love to take their mattress topper, but I've got this new one here. So, let's get some other stuff. So that's what we did. The puppy that ended up coming into our lives decided to eat the old mattress topper, and I contacted my beloved. I'm like, remember that mattress topper? Anyway, I can get that. It's way better than the old one was. I mean, this mattress topper has been awesome. So if you're looking for a really good mattress topper that is just, really comfortable, feels great, don't have the back pains or anything else, just a fantastic product. MyPillow.com, radio listener specials, click on that 3-inch mattress topper. If you use promo code Casey, you'll save 40%. MyPillow.com, radio listener specials, promo code Casey at checkout. Did you know that there was an entire network of trans doctors who claimed to have lost patients to COVID on Twitter that were fake? Did you know that? Because there was. Interesting stuff. On Twitter, there existed an entire network of supposed ER doctors who identified as part of the trans community who constantly lost patients to COVID and received thousands of retweets. The only problem is that they don't exist. The San Francisco Standard. These doctors pushed masking, COVID lockdowns on Twitter. Turns out they don't exist. Interesting. One example was Dr. Robert Honeyman, who claimed to have lost his, her, sister to COVID and tweeted about it. It garnered 4,000 retweets and 43,000 likes. A month later, Honeyman wrote that his husband had fallen into a COVID-induced coma. Sad to announce that my husband has entered a coma after being in the hospital with COVID. The doctor is unsure if he will come out. This year has been the toughest of my life, losing my sister to the virus. This is the first time in my life that I don't see light at the end of the tunnel. Okay. Honeyman's profile picture was taken from a royalty-free image site and titled Smiley, Happy, Handsome Latino Man. His bio includes, of course, the Ukrainian and transgender flags. His apparently comatose husband's photo was actually an insurance professional in Indiana, John. Look at that. Look at us. We're moving up in the world. Who's your pride? Other tweets on Honeyman's profile encourage stringent lockdowns and COVID mitigation measures. He's even out there.
Specifics.
Let's see if this dovetails into that last topic we were talking about. He even has a tweet from November 27th of last year, okay, 2022. Now, that's like 2 months ago, less than. Come on, China, stop protesting. We wish we had similar lockdown measures here. It sounds like a Chinese op to me. My young child got everybody in class to wear a mask after making a simple poster explaining the benefits to us all. After her aunt dying of COVID, she pulled the whole family together. If she can do this, why can't we all? Because your mask doesn't work and it's stupid. That's why. Oh, and you made it all up because you're not a real person. Public health is not a personal choice. I thought that was obvious, but clearly not. Are you starting to get it? When we keep telling you that a lot of these accounts pushing this propaganda are bots, that's what we mean. They're bots. They're not real. The other doctors in the network also express okay, I'm going to take a deep breath here. Pro LGBTQAEIPP-2S opinions. So I did a bit a long time ago in Las Vegas, okay? LGBTQ, RS, TV, WX, Y, and Z. I did that for years. It angered exactly 2 people. And I did it as a joke because they kept adding people to the acronym because, as I've been telling you for this entire time, the goal is to make everybody a part of the LGBT, whatever you want to add to it, community. And right now, anybody who really thinks about it is actually one of the things in the acronym. That's why people who identify with this group keep growing, even though they're going to live their life as a normal heterosexual adult. That's just how most people are going to live their life. Very, very small percentage of people are gay. Very, very, very small fraction of the small percentage of people who are gay are trans. And you can be trans without being gay. I know, it's weird, but it was a joke. And the joke is now reality. Anyway, it seems the strategy was to market lefty doctors trying to rally other like-minded individuals to push for stricter COVID measures. I wonder how many real doctors actually retweeted this crap. I'll bet a lot. I will bet a lot. This method likely failed, however, when users discovered Honeyman also claimed partial responsibility for making Velma a lesbian. So Velma is the Scooby-Doo, Where Are You thing. I got news for you. There's a certain genre of filmmaking out there that made Velma a lesbian a long, long time ago. You know. We got to talk about other COVID measures, specifically the chinless one, Eric Holcomb, and what he wants to do to health agencies after their disastrous run at COVID. We'll talk about that coming up. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
This hour's business spotlight is on Prime Table Restaurant in Niles. Over 29 years of great food and exceptional service.
Oh, that was good. Now I need a coffee.
In Niles.
Balance of nature. Balance of nature.
I snuck more of them in the kids' mashed potatoes the other day. I forgot to throw the capsules away, so my 10-year-old found it. She's like, wow, there's a lot of empty pill things here. I was like, oh yeah, that was your vegetables last night. And she goes, huh? That's what was in the mashed potatoes. And she goes, really? Yeah. It's the only way I can get your sister to eat them.
over 600 vehicles to choose from. Now is the time.
Countdown time. Qualifying countdown time.
Now is the time to make the vote. Tax time is match time, which means
yes, I am planning on talking about the sanitized border in San Jose.
Can't do anything. Qualifying countdown time? Okay, fine. Yeah.
Excuse me. Damn. I had some TV16 today, but I have a big jug of water with me today, and I forgot to take it in since my other job, and so I'm like way behind on my water. So I think I chugged that energy drink a little too fast.
Skills off.
Oh, Biden is condemning the riots in Brazil now. It's funny how we pick and choose which government had legitimate elections and which one didn't, right?
5 minutes. Okay. So that's all the information I see there. Penalties. Categories. What are they calling this category?
Excuse me. God, came out of nowhere. I'm
So one make, which I can't set.
There's a local band that listens to the show, and they have a new song that has just released, so that's going to be in the rotation of music here soon. And I asked them for permission to use it on the stream. They said yes, but they want me to hold off just until it's finished getting approved on the streaming platforms. So they're going through the process of getting on the streaming platforms and everything else. So the band is See This Through. They're fantastic. They're great. Really is kind of like the way that they described it is like it was a throwback to like the 2000s rock, and it really is. It's a great tune. So SeeThisThrough.com, and the new song is Undertow. Go check it out. As soon as they get approval on the streaming services and stuff, we will be able to play it on the live stream. But you can go to their website and actually listen to it.
Specializing in mobile office vehicles on new car companies where you save money, lots of money. You buy smart so you can shop smart and save on a new car company.
Shortcuts are weak, which is strong.
All right, here we go.
9 till midnight on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Don't forget, you can watch the live stream, Rumble or Odyssey at CaseyTheHost, your preference. Most people watch on Rumble or my website, but several of you prefer Odyssey. The live chat has some cool features on Odyssey that they don't have anywhere else, so entirely up to you where you watch. Doesn't matter to me. Okay, just make sure you hit that subscribe button wherever you are. I would appreciate that. The Indiana State Legislature convenes this week, and Governor Eric Holcomb wants one of the largest budget increases in the state's history for his health department. Now, this is in the Federalist. Now, this is an article that is written by Amy Drake, who is a county councilwoman in South Bend. I know Amy, and she has been involved in this fight for quite some time. And this is a good piece. You should read this. It'll be in the Daily Show Prep today. Such a move would increase, Such a move would increase not only the bureaucracy's money, but also its power. Those of us who fought Holcomb's COVID rules hope our state reps will once again be bold enough to act against his wishes in the interests of justice. Many of us felt vindicated in May of 2021 when the Indiana General Assembly limited the power of local health officers, even though they had to override the governor's veto to do it. In my area of South Bend, local health officials tried to limit gatherings to groups of 10. Roll back our economy, and issue fines for mask non-compliance. They even targeted bars in late-night raids. By the way, late-night raids that they could have easily done before anybody showed up at the bar because they knew that there was going to be a gathering there. They chose to let the gathering happen. Then they raided the bar in order to say, see, we're not going to let this stuff happen. but they could have prevented it from happening. So it was never about preventing the spread of COVID. It was about punishing a business who was just trying to survive. At one point, the state attorney general, Curtis Hill, had to step in and issue a warning to the St. Joseph County Department of Health for trying to intimidate churches into closing. The local officers also found themselves on the losing end of a lawsuit for pushing an illegal mask order. Yep, Eintertz broke the law. The overreach in my county and across Indiana prompted state lawmakers to make it harder for health departments to issue orders unilaterally. Despite that move, the governor came back months later to announce a working group that many of us feared would undo the progress and increase the public health bureaucracy in Indiana. That indeed was the result when the governor's Public Health Commission issued its final report in the summer of 2022, calling for a $240 million per year increase in spending on the public health bureaucracy in Indiana. Now, here's the thing. Let me just ask you this basic question here. In the middle of COVID, I could see a $240 million increase for public health, even bureaucracies. Would I agree with it? Absolutely not. But at least I could see the argument for it. All right, COVID's done. It doesn't matter how many times you get Jimmy Fallon to go up there and basically make a fool of himself because he's desperately trying to cling to what little bit of fame he has left. But at what point do we say enough is enough? And how can you possibly justify a $240 million per year increase in spending on public health bureaucracy in Indiana when there isn't a public emergency anymore? What do you need to increase the budget by $240 million for? What would be the logic behind that? What is happening right now in the state of Indiana that you need to increase that budget by $240 million? Considering the damage public health officials achieved using considerably less money, the idea of increasing its budget to phenomenal record-breaking levels is tone-deaf. In Indiana and everywhere else, the public health establishment pushed unscientific policies that led to lockdowns, mask mandates, vaccine coercion, business destruction, job losses, supply chain disruption, isolation and mental trauma, family separation, severe child and teen educational damage, warped social interactions, and delayed essential health care. Oh, and the RSV virus that everybody's dealing with right now. That's all because of COVID policies. Do I need to remind everybody that before the Delta wave, Holcomb declared victory over COVID because of his mask mandate? I need to remind everybody that. He came out there, he said he beat COVID. His mask mandate beat COVID. And everybody who insulted his mask mandate was wrong. Yeah, he was vindicated.
That is set up.
And then, of course, that went up in smoke. The idea of rewarding public health for its failures and authoritarianism with huge streams of money now and into the future so it can continue to grow its power is absurd. Are Indiana's health leaders so disconnected as not to realize how negatively their policies affected public health in terms of anxiety, depression, substance abuse, and suicide rates? And what about all the missed well checks and postponed operations? Yeah, she brings up a very good point here. We don't even know all the short and long-term effects of the barely tested genetic vaccines, which are already associated with myocarditis. There's several more kids over the weekend.
So now I need to go and do my dishes.
A lot of kids.
Feed the kitty cats, and we do have a rotisserie chicken that I need to pull. Nuts! That's going to take about a half an hour to do that. All right, I gotta get off now.
Decision makers didn't even spare our children from their vaccine experiment, despite statistically zero negative health outcomes in that age group. Well, and not only that, I'd like to point out. I mean, everything that Amy is saying here is factually correct, but I'd also like to point out when it comes to the kids, people like Dr. Eintertz, they went out there and they told you things were true when they hadn't even been studied by Pfizer. They told you things that were just straight up fabricated out of thin air. They pushed the idea that Omicron was more dangerous than Delta, especially for kids. They pushed all of this. None of it was real. It was all a lie. They broke the law to get you to enforce the lie. When they got caught breaking the law, they weren't admonished. They weren't punished. They were simply, good try there, lad. Keep going. The governor's public health commission was charged with examining the